18.
Welcome back. Let's invite the management of Caplin Point on the show now. Vivek Partheeban, the COO of the company, is now with us on the show. Thank you very much, sir, for joining in. So now in the first half of the year, you've clocked in close to about 17% top line growth. You're saying that Latin America continues to drive robust top line and bottom line growth. So can you give us the outlook for the second half of the year and break it up in terms of Latin America and US?
Thank you. So, Latin America continues to drive maximum growth for us right now, but US is fast catching up as well. Of course, albeit on a small base, we are still looking at very decent growth in the US. But at this point, the breakup is at about 82% from Latin America and the other 18% from the US. We've been very consistent over the last few years, few quarters, etc. I think that also goes to show that the business model that we have, where we cater to the bottom of the pyramid, continues to work well for us, which is what we are going to be trying to replicate in the US as well.
Vivek, what my colleague meant to ask is, what are the growth rates that you're looking at in FY25? Will you be able to do this 18% mark or better than that for the entire year? And how would growth be from the Latin American geography and the US geography separately?
Yeah. So typically H2 is equal or better than H1 for us historically. And what I mentioned with regards to consistency is the fact that almost 80+ % of our business is targeted towards the private market. So basically, we have a fair amount of repeatability, a fair amount of consistency with our business. There is no hit or miss kind of events that happens for us, So you can expect similar kind of growth for us for H2 as well.
Okay. Your oncology business, which commenced exports, has clocked in a 12 crore revenue in the first half of the year. For the second half of the year, what is the run rate? And you're saying it will be profitable in the first full year of operations. So that will be in FY25. What could be the profits we should expect from the oncology business?
Yeah, so oncology business typically is low volume, high margins. We don't want to get into specific numbers, but we are very confident of repeating what we've done in the first half, in the second half also. At which level I think we will turn profitable on this. This is, I would say, a bit of a rarity because typically any new capex takes about 3-4 years for, especially when you're looking at pharmaceuticals and finished dosages, etc. So this is pertinent because we've been able to do some groundwork on oncology products in our existing markets by way of outsourcing over the last few years, which we've been able to take in-house right now. This has gone some way into making this unit turn profitable within the first full year of operations itself.
Okay, so once it does scale up, Vivek, what kind of revenue number are you targeting? And since it's oncology, it'll be high margin business, right? So how would it contribute to your margins going forward?
Yeah, I think at a company level, we are either better than benchmarks. If you look at companies our size, our EBITDA is close to 35-36%. The oncology business will go in some way to augment this, but at any level, I don't see us reducing this either on an entity level or on a consolidated level. So I would say the oncology business will be value accretive for sure from here.
Okay. You've also tied up with partners in China for entry into biologics and biosimilars for emerging markets initially, with specific focus on insulin analogs and biosimilars. Can you tell us what this means for the company in terms of financials or, the strategy?
Yeah, we've always looked at how do we evolve ourselves to the next trajectory of growth? How do we evolve ourselves to what the market trends are? And biologics and biosimilars is something that everybody, needs to get into over the next 5-10 years. Obviously, it requires quite deep pockets. So we need to segment it out as to how it will work for Caplin. So what we are looking at in the initial stages is to focus a little bit more on the drug substance to be outsourced from China and Taiwan, etc., and then for the drug products to be manufactured in-house. The drug product is very similar to the liquid injectables that we do for the US, so there's not too much by way of differentiation that we have there. So we think we can continue to be as asset light as possible when we get into biologics, at least in the initial periods before we start putting in infrastructure on our own once the business starts to scale. So it's early days right now. I think in the next 3 to 4 years, this will start to occupy a bigger share of our pie.
So you said you need deep pockets, right, to get into this business completely. So when you say 3 to 4 years down the line, what kind of capex would you require here? You must be planning for that already. And you had spoken of a capex plan of around 600 to 650 crore rupees when we spoke to you in Q1. How much have you spent in Q2? What is the outlook for the remainder of the year?
Yeah, so over this year and next year, I think we would, at a maximum, spend around 300 crores more on capex to complete all our existing projects. Now, we live within our means, right? We don't have any debt on our books. All of the capex that we spend on is all funded internally. And due to the robustness in our Latin American business, we are able to put away around 270 to 300 crore per year in surplus, right? So even if it takes for our biosimilar projects and stuff later on, even if it takes extra amount of capex to be done, we will do this internally. We don't have a specific number on where that needs to be right now, but we will get there. We will get there, and we are evolving as well as a company. We will also try and understand what our sweet spot is when it comes to biologics. So, like I said, early days at this point, and we will keep you informed as and when there are developments here.
Vivek, thank you very much for joining in. That's the word coming in from Caplin Point. In the last 3 months, the stock has gained close to about 30-odd%. By the way, IT is